My marketing is just not working. This is the number one complaint that most business owners complain about. But when I ask them, do you even know why your marketing is not working? Their usual answer is, I don't know. I've tried hiring a lot of agencies. I have deployed the best marketing funnel. I have this system, that system, but I just don't know. I'm just not able to actually get consistent leads and scale my marketing. If you can relate to that issue, then worry not, because by the time you actually complete watching this video till the end, you will know exactly the answer to this question, and you will know how do you go about fixing your marketing and what should be the action steps you should take so that of course you can scale your business. My name is Rohan Dhawan. I'm the founder and CEO of this company called as Uability. Till date, I have spent upwards of 10 crores on various kind of courses, masterminds, ads and whatnot just to figure out the answer to this question so that you can also generate consistent leads. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing or the biggest thing that you should understand whenever you're talking about marketing is you need something called as traffic. Now, a big mistake that a lot of business owners or aspiring business owners make is that they end up depending too much on their network, referrals, word of mouth, or praying to the gods that somehow I should be able to get some sort of customers someday. Now, if you are in that position, then this is the first thing that you should go about fixing, because if you are not having consistent eyeballs viewing your business, or basically enough eyeballs entering your business. Imagine you open a restaurant, right? And as soon as you open the restaurant, what you do is you put like a black color shade on the restaurant and you cover it with the huge curtain and whatnot, and nobody is able to see it. The question is, do you think somebody will actually end up buying from you? No, right? So this is the big problem that a lot of people face. They just don't have enough eyeballs seeing what exactly they are offering. And of course, if you don't have that, then how do you go about, scaling things, right? So what you should figure out is there are a lot of mechanisms you can use. The first thing that you can consider doing is running ads, right? So there are a lot of platforms like Facebook, you have Google, you have YouTube, you can think about Instagram or whatever is the preferred medium of your choice. You can even run ads on newspaper. I don't even know if somebody reads newspaper these days, but if that is where your audience hangs out, you can also consider doing that. But doing this is very, very critical. If you are like, Rohan, I don't want to spend money on ads, or I don't have the money to spend on ads, don't worry. You can consider doing something called as organic marketing or earned marketing, which basically means posting content, just like how I'm doing right now. And posting content doesn't require you to actually spend money, because it's literally free to do that. So if you're good at making videos, you can consider YouTube. If you don't want to make long form videos, you can consider Instagram for short form. If you are like, I'm more into podcasts or more into audio content, you can consider podcast. If you are like, Rohan, I'm more into writing, you can consider medium.com or Quora, right? Whatever the case is, point is, people should get aware about whatever the hell you are doing. And if this is not happening, guess what? Nobody will actually ever find out about you. So this is something you can consider. Now, if you are like, Rohan, the people I'm trying to target are very, very busy. They don't have time to see ads, or they don't have time to actually hang out on social media or see any kind of content. No worries at all. Then what you can consider is doing something called as outbound. Okay, so this basically means you reaching out to other people and messaging them directly, and or maybe emailing them or maybe calling them. And these are potentially business owners or really ultra busy people. And what you can do is you can approach them using LinkedIn. You can consider cold email. You can consider calling, whatever the case might be. But the difference between these two approaches and this approach is, over here, people are coming to you. So this means you're pulling people. This means the lead quality, of course, would be a lot higher and the efforts would be a lot lesser when it comes to converting them. But when you end up actually doing this particular approach, this is when you are reaching out. This means you're using something called as a push-based approach, where you are actually approaching people. Over here, the efforts will be higher, and of course the time duration and everything will be a lot higher as well. But hopefully, the deal value that you will end up converting, because now over here you're targeting B2B people or people who are super busy. This means I'm assuming you will also charge a lot of money to them. So your efforts would ultimately be justified. Now, you should definitely consider this if you're doing B2B, or maybe you're selling something which is super expensive. And you can consider these mediums if you are probably, not selling to ultra busy people, not selling to huge businesses, maybe to every Tom, Dick and Harry, maybe more towards a B2C market. Then these approaches would actually definitely help you. So figure out which one is the best approach. And if you have none, then I would highly recommend figuring out what works best for you. Now, a lot of people actually end up even figuring this out. Okay, a lot of people actually end up figuring this traffic part out. They're like, oh yes, I will post content. Yes, I will reach out to people. Yes, I will run ads. But you know what the next problem that they face? They do not have any proper mechanism or place to send this traffic to. They just just do a bunch of random stuff. So a lot of people actually end up figuring out this step number one, which is the traffic source. I mean, it's not rocket science to post videos on YouTube or maybe run ads or send DMs. The problem that a lot of people face at this particular stage would be that not enough people end up clicking on your ads, right? And they do not end up actually clicking on your content, maybe whatever you are promoting, or maybe they just do not end up responding to your messages. Like, I can personally relate to this. I remember the first time I actually ended up running ads, my cost per click was probably like $200. People were just not clicking on my ads. I also remember the initial times when I started posting content. Like, I literally grew this page on Facebook to upwards of 50,000 plus likes. I was like, I became really good at, getting eyeballs. But then whenever I used to, send people to my website or encourage them or give them some sort of call to action to buy something from my website, nobody will actually click on me on these links, right? So this would be another problem that I would have. No clicks, right? And even when I remember back in the days when I started this outbound approach, I started reaching out to business owners, what would happen is I would get no replies, right? Now, most people are stuck at this stage. They do not even end up, getting past this stage, which is the next stage I'll talk about in a bit. And the reason, have you ever thought about why exactly does this happen? Right? A lot of people at this stage, what they do? They end up blaming ads. They're like, oh, this Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, they are bad people. These ads, they don't work for my business. I should actually give up. This is not good for me. Or it's the fault of the marketing agency. That is the reason why this is not working. Or what happens? They would post content, maybe they would be regular for a week, maybe they would post content for a month, 2 months, and after that they would stop posting, and then they would start blaming the algorithms. Oh, back in the days it was a lot easier to get views on YouTube. Now it's becoming very competitive and very challenging. I should probably give up. Or they end up blaming their video editors, their content agency and whatnot, and as a result, they just do not actually end up succeeding, which is also wrong. Or they actually start doing some outbound. Maybe they send messages or emails to 5-10 people, and some of them do not even respond to them, and they are like, oh, this outbound work, this is dog work, this is slavery, I don't want to do this just does not work, right? And then they keep hopping from one method to another method, from one platform to another platform, and guess what? There is no consistency, there is nothing going on, and this is where a lot of people give up. Now, I want you to know something very important. Have you ever thought about why are these people not clicking on whatever you're trying to promote? Why are you not able to get views? Why are you not able to get a lot of traffic? And please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you need to get like lakhs of views. Like, I personally don't get lakhs of views. I get few hundred or few thousand views, right? But the point is, at least I end up getting those quality people, right? So the question is, why are you also not able to do that for yourself? Why are people not clicking on your ads? Why are people not actually viewing your content and then further clicking on it? Why are people not responding to your message? The answer is very simple. Whatever you are putting out, It's just not compelling enough. Whatever marketing that you're promoting, the message that you have in your ads, your headline, your copy, your image, your video, it's just not good enough. It's not your targeting problem. It's not, the targeting setting. It's not the fault of the algorithm. It's just that, because everybody's using the same targeting options. Everybody who's actually successful are using the same platforms. Then the point is, why is it not working for you? As I said, I want you to go and analyze your headline. I want you to analyze your copy. I want you to analyze your creative. And then really question, is this message of mine really resonating with my market? Is this message of mine really compelling enough so that people are interested in clicking on it? Is this message of mine really helping me stand out from the market and from rest of the competition? Because if it's not, then guess what? You're doing something wrong over here. You need to fix this before you actually move forward. Similarly for content, let's suppose, maybe you're not getting quality views. Maybe even if you are getting views, people are not clicking and going to your website and taking the action that you want them to take. Then again, ask yourself the same question. Is my content relevant enough? Are my thumbnails good enough? Is the value that I'm sharing good enough? Is my messaging that I have good enough? And if the answer is no, guess what? Then it's not the fault of the platform. It's your messaging, which is something that needs to be fixed, right? Similarly with outbound, right? Did you check your cold email or the cold message that you're sending? Does it look like every other generic cold email and message out there? If the answer is yes, then why do you think somebody should reply to you? So how do you go about fixing this? Very simple. Number one, go talk to your market, understand more about their pain problems, right? Then go back to the drawing board, try out 100 different headlines, try out 100 different ad copies, try out 100 different ad creatives. Similarly for content, try out 100 different variations of thumbnails, try out 100 different variations of content pieces, try out 100 different pieces of, the value that you're sharing inside of your video, right? Try out 100 different pieces of hooks if needed. And then similarly for outbound, if your message is not working or your email template is not working, similarly change the subject line, right? Try out 100 pieces of subject line, try out 100 different pieces of content within the email that you're sending. Split test them and figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. After you've tested enough, you will find this one combination which will be your winner combination, which will allow you to actually successfully get a lot of traffic to whatever you're doing. Now, the problem is majority of the people won't actually take out the time and make the efforts of actually doing this. And this is why if you look at some of the top successful people on earth, they just do the same thing, but they just do it more number of times, and they just do it they just keep getting better and better because they are learning from all the mistakes that they are making, and this just allows them to succeed, right? So that is what you should consider. If people are not clicking on your traffic, people are not clicking on your ads, people are not clicking on your content, people are not responding to your message, this is what the issue is, and this is what you need to fix first before we actually move on to the next steps, right? Okay, so what you should consider doing is, after you're getting eyeballs, you must focus on getting something which is very, very critical, which is the contact information of all these traffic sources that you have. What do I mean? You need to get their email and phone number. Now, why is this important? And why do you need to actually, get this information? Because think about this, these traffic sources that you have, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're promoting, whatever content, whatever you're doing, ads or outbound, whatever. This information, email, phone number of these individuals you're trying to contact to, guess who has access to this email and phone number and all this information? It's these platforms, YouTube, Facebook, whatnot. You don't have it. These people do. So in future, even if you want to promote to these people, guess what, right? How will you reach out to them? Will you run ads again? Will you do content again? Will you, let's suppose, send emails again? That's just going to be like such a waste of time and efforts, right? So it is very important that you capture this information, right, and have access to this so that you can contact these individuals whenever you want and whenever you desire to sell them whatever you want, right? And this will end up becoming your biggest asset. If you think about why is Facebook valued at billions of dollars, it's because of the access to 1 billion plus users ka data that they have access to, which allows them to run ads to them, right? And that is the reason why that platform is so powerful. So similarly, now you need to build your own platform by getting this information. But the big question is, why would somebody give you that email and phone number? Think about this, right? If you're sending them, if you're like, Rohan, but I already send them to my website, it has a name and contact field and email, it's good. Yeah, but what incentive do these people have to actually enter their email and phone number? Just think about it, right? And chances are that you are like, Rohan, but I already have some sort of compelling thing that I'm already offering as an incentive. Then the question is it compelling enough? Because if it was, you won't be watching this video, right? So think about that. Now, this is why it is very important to build step number 2, which is something I call as a landing page. Now, this landing page is basically a simple web page that you create, which allows somebody, like it would look something like this. It would have 2 input fields, okay, where somebody would be able to enter their email, phone number, and maybe you could have a third field, which could be their name, right? Now, in exchange of giving their, email or phone number to you, what you give to these individuals would be some sort of valuable thing that this traffic has been craving for, which they cannot get access to generally without giving you the name and email, right? So just to give you an example, let's suppose you are my audience, you're watching this video. Now, when you're watching this video, let's suppose I tell you, hey, your marketing is not working. Here are 200 different kind of hooks that I've tried in the past, which have allowed me to generate upwards of 3 lakh plus leads. I have put them all in an ebook. If you are interested, just click on the description link below and you will be able to enter your email, phone number, name, and download that free guide of hooks that you can start using to create much more compelling marketing for yourself. Would you be interested in actually buying? Or would you be interested in actually clicking on that link and entering your name and just those basic details in order to get that particular information? If the answer is yes, then that means the incentive that I'm offering to you in exchange of actually giving me this particular information is very, very compelling. So similarly, what you now need to think about is, Rohan, if I'm getting a lot of clicks to my landing page, are enough number of people actually clicking on this page to give me the information that I truly want? And according to the industry standards, you should aim to at least convert 20% of the people who actually click on your landing page and end up actually giving you your name and email address. What do I mean by this? Let's suppose you get 100 people to actually, see your content and then, or maybe see your ad or maybe see your outbound message. And they then 100 of them out of this, let's suppose, 80 people actually end up clicking on the same, right? So out of these 80, what we are aiming for is 20% of the people when they go to your landing page should end up actually, giving you their name and email information. This means you should aim towards at least getting 16 leads, right? And this is what is called as a lead, right? To actually give you the name and email information. Now the question is, Rohan, to these 16 leads, how do I go about thinking what should I offer them? What should I give them for which they might be interested in giving me their name and email information? You can think about giving them ebooks. Maybe you can think about creating a guide. Okay, in today's time, it's very easy to do it. Like, think about whatever problem you're trying to solve or whatever the topic is. Go to ChatGPT right now and just tell ChatGPT, create an ebook which is 20 pages long, showing somebody how to fix A problem and get B result, right? In 30 days or whatever, you'll be able to actually create a quick ebook. Maybe you can create a guide. For example, maybe you want to help somebody lose weight. You can easily go to GPT and create like a guide which allows somebody to actually lose weight. You could even create a video. Maybe you could give like a video in exchange of them entering their name and email information, where you are basically taking all this knowledge that you have or whatever incentive that they have, and you're presenting it in a video format, right? You can also do like a live webinar, which is basically this video, but you are going live and actually explaining the concept. You can even do a 3-day event, right, where basically you have this entire guide or this entire information piece that you have, and you spread it across like 3 days, where you're sharing some sort of valuable information and insights with your audience, building more trust, etc. Now please note, the more commitment is required from somebody's end, the higher the cost would be and the lower the conversion rate would be when it comes to like giving their contact details to you. For example, somebody sitting through a 3-day event requires a lot of high commitment as opposed to somebody just going through an ebook, right? So you would actually get a lot more conversions over here and a lot less conversion over here. But the fact is, the conversions that you would get, for this or these, right, would be a lot more higher quality, because these people are choosing to actually commit that time and efforts in when it comes to actually spending time with you and whatnot, right? So what should be your personal choice and what should you do? The simple thing is just split test and see what works best for you. If you want something quick and easy, just start with ebook guides and whatnot. If you want much more higher quality leads, then go for these other options. It all depends upon your skills and everything else, right? So this is how it works, right? So far we have covered, how you can actually get a lot of traffic, and then how you can actually end up, getting a lot of people to this landing page to give you their name and email information. Now the big question would be, Rohan, I already have this landing page, maybe I already have this ebook, I already have this incentive for which people would want to actually give me money, not money, sorry, give me their contact details, but still Rohan, people are just not giving me that opt-in, or people are just not giving me that information. What could be the reason, right? Well, if people are not giving you their name and email address, and your conversion rate, as I said, is less than 20%, this means out of 100 clicks that you're getting, okay, less than 20%, so let's suppose 5 or anything, 5-10 people only are just opting in, right? This means that something is wrong. Now what could be wrong? Number one, maybe the incentive that you're offering to them is just not compelling enough for these people to give their name and email information to you. Imagine this, if somebody is not even giving you their free time, right, then clearly your incentive is just not good enough. Just figure out so that you can actually get this conversion rate to be a lot higher. I know people who get conversion rates at above 20% as well. I have a lot of landing pages that convert at above 20% as well. So you can also make that happen for yourself. And the only solution to do this, test, simple, 100 different landing pages, right? Very simple. So what you can do is, you can think of 100 different, incentives that somebody want, maybe an ebook, video, it could be a webinar, it could be a 3-day event, right? Go to ChatGPT, just type, hey ChatGPT, tell me 5 incentives or lead magnets that I should offer on my landing page so that people actually give me their email address. This is the audience that I'm trying to target. Just by doing this, you'll be able to come up with like so many different kind of options that you can put on your landing page, and then hope that your conversion rate is above 20%, because if you can do this, you'll be in a much better position. Now a lot of people don't even understand this, and then even after they reach this stage, they keep blaming the platform. Oh, it's the fault of Mark Zuckerberg, because of which my landing page. Arey bhaiya, what has Mark Zuckerberg to do with your landing page? He's not controlling your website. This is your thing, right? So all this Zuckerberg has control over is sending you traffic, right? Now, if you're not able to actually have a compelling incentive for these people to give you the name and email information, why the hell would they actually want to, buy? Now, in case you're selling e-commerce, okay, this landing page is then further, it's replaced by not just name and email, it's replaced by a product where somebody clicks on add to cart and then actually ends up buying whatever you are selling. But concept is relevantly the same. Please note, with e-commerce, the conversion rate is roughly like 1%, because here you are asking people to actually pay you money, not just give you, name and email address, right? So this is how you go about, calculating this. Now, a lot of people should understand, let's suppose for 100 clicks, I'm paying, 10 rupees per click. Now, if I'm doing rupees 10 multiplied by 100, guess what? I'm spending 1000 rupees. Now, let's suppose I'm able to get 20 leads from this, right? What is my cost per lead? It's very simple. 1000 divided by 20, right? Which is how much? It's 50, right? So I'm paying 50 rupees as the cost per lead. Now, whenever somebody tells you, oh, the cost per lead is high, or whenever you experience this yourself, oh shit, the cost per lead, let's suppose in your case, is 500 bucks. Now at least you have the tools to understand, okay, my cost per lead is high because either the incentive I'm offering on my landing page is just not compelling enough, or the traffic that I'm sending, the headline, my copy, my creatives are just not compelling enough. So which one is the case? You need to figure that out and then work on that, and that would help you understand why your marketing is not working. Now, after this, what ends up happening is, once somebody has given you the name and email address, this is the time when they will finally get whatever you promised them. Remember the incentive that we talked about? It could be an ebook, webinar, video, whatever the hell you're offering, right? It's that special thing that made them want to enter their name and email address in the first place. So let's just call that thing as mechanism. Okay. Now, as I said, it could be a video, ebook, webinar, 3-day event, whatever. Right? Now, so far, let's suppose you got, 100 people over here, or let's suppose 1000 people. Okay. And now, out of this, 20%, 200 people have decided to give you their name and email address. Now, what ends up happening is these 200 people will, then hopefully consume whatever you are offering. It could be, let's suppose, the ebook that you have. It could be maybe attending the webinar that you have. It could be the 3-day event that you have, right? And what will happen is, let's suppose if you're giving like an ebook, the chances is that, most people would actually consume that ebook because, it's like easily available and they would just simply scroll. They would be able to download it, and it's like a lot less time commitment. But if you're, let's suppose, doing a live webinar, out of these 200 people, maybe you can expect only 100 people to show up, right? Which is very much the case, which means 50% show up. Okay. Or maybe if you're doing a 3-day event, you could expect people even lesser than this to show up. Why? Because again, as I said, time commitment is a lot higher, right? Now, if that is the case, and the metric that you can aim for is that 50% of these people who are entering their information, at least, okay, 50% should end up consuming whatever the hell you're offering. Because if this consumption rate, right, is less than 50%, then guess what? Most of the people who are actually entering their information are choosing not to even consume what you are offering. And guess what? There is so much leakage over here. Because let's suppose out of these 200 people, you only had 100 people to actually show up, or 100 people to actually consume. Then guess what? The remaining 100 people, even though you have their contact information, have never ever even heard about you. So forget sales. And you know what? A lot of people at this stage, they're like, oh, it's Mark Zuckerberg's fault, it's Sundar Pichai's fault, because of which this is happening, right? They don't even understand this whole concept, right? So this is what you must understand. Now, if less than 50% of the people are actually, consuming whatever you're offering, the simple reason is whatever you're offering sucks, or is just not compelling enough for them to actually give that time commitment, right? Because as soon as they enter their name and email information and they start seeing a little bit more about what exactly is this about, because half of the time people on the social media and all these websites and email, they're like they're so distracted, there's so many things going on, they just keep entering the name and email address on every single thing. Like an average adult sees thousands of ads and so many marketing pieces of content every single day, So definitely they just, end up actually even giving their name and email. But when they actually give their name and email, if they still do not end up consuming what you have, because once they actually get serious and they start studying it and they like actually start reading it or start thinking, okay, now I have to attend this webinar or attend this 3-day event or read this ebook or whatever, they're like, yeah, this is boring. It's just not compelling enough, or they just drop off. Or maybe, they get a notification about a cat meme that their friend sent and they get interested on that. Or maybe, they get a call from a family member and they start chatting and they forget about whatever you're doing, right? So the first thing is, what you can do is, if enough people are not showing up, then you really need to think about, how can I go about testing more ebooks? How can I make the content of it a lot better so that people are interested? How can I make the packaging of my webinar a lot better? How can I make the packaging of my 3-day event better? How can I make the packaging of my video sales letter a lot better so that more than 50% of the people are actually consuming what I have to do? And again, how do you do it? Is go talk to your market, understand, hey, what did you not like about, like, all these people who are entering their details? Just give them a call and ask them, hey, I noticed that you actually, signed up for this thing, but I noticed that you didn't even consume it. Can I ask you, what did you not like about it? Or if you are like, Rohan, no, I don't want to call, go to Google Forms, create a simple survey form and just send it to them and ask them, hey, I noticed that you actually signed up, but did not actually end up, consuming it. So I'm just curious, like, what happened? Can you please fill out this quick survey? It has like 3-4 questions. Get that information and improve this. And guess what? You will now be in a position to actually make a lot more money, right? Because more people are now consuming what you do. The second thing that you can consider doing is install follow-up. Even if you have the best thing that you're offering, right? As I told you, people get distracted, a lot of things happening. So what you can do is, you can remind these people by setting email reminders. You can even send them a WhatsApp reminder. You could use something called as retargeting ads. Okay. Where you can get these people to recall, hey, you actually ended up giving me your information and signing up for this valuable thing, but you did not consume it. Go back, check it out. Go back, check it out. And every time they open an email, every time they open WhatsApp, every time they open some social media, you are there. You are reminding them to go and check this out. And hopefully when you do this, your consumption rate or your show up rate would be a lot higher than what you would actually anticipate it to, right? Now, let's suppose you do even manage to do that, and you are like, okay, Rohan, I'm already crushing it, and at least Rohan, out of these, I got 1,000 people who clicked on my marketing, 200 people who actually became my leads. Out of this, 100 people actually consumed / showed up. Okay, now guess what? After your ebook that you have, webinar or whatever, what is going to be the next thing that you will do? Of course, you have given them value, you have nurtured them enough. The next thing would be to sell them, right? So basically you will make a pitch. Now this pitch could be in whatever form you prefer. Okay, this pitch could be on a one-to-one call. It could be on a one-to-many, like a webinar or whatever 3-day event you're doing. It could be one-to-many, right? And I think these are the only forms, right? Now let's suppose out of these 100 people, you should expect at least 10 to 20% of them minimum to convert, which is, out of these 100 people, how many is it? It's approximately 10 to 20 people. Now, simple rule, lower the prices, higher the conversion rate is. The better your sales process is, the higher the conversion rate is, right? And of course, the better your mechanism is, the higher the conversion rate is, right? So at this stage, what ends up happening is, when people show up and they do not end up buying whatever you're selling, guess what do people do? Again, they would just go back, oh, it's Mark Zuckerberg's fault, Sundar Pichai's fault, or it's the fault of the platform, or it's the fault of my marketing agency, or it's the fault of the content agency. And they end up blaming everyone. But you know what? These people have already delivered what was committed, which is traffic. You already have enough people who are giving you the details. This means this is working so far. these people even decide to show up or consume at least 50% of them decided to of whatever you're offering, which is pretty good. But then when they finally consumed whatever you are offering, video, webinar, ebook, whatever, and they finally hear your pitch by either you on a one-to-one call or by your sales team on a one-to-one call or by you on a one-to-many event, after hearing that pitch, they are still like, Rohan, this is not compelling, I'm not buying. And out of this, if you end up getting less than 10-20 people, this means less than 10 to 20% of the people who actually consume to actually buy this, guess what? Then something is wrong with your pitch. Okay, so what do you go about doing? Well, very simple. First, you have to, number one recommendation is listen to the recording. Listen to the recording of you pitching one-to-one or one-to-many. Try to identify the areas where the person you're talking to or your team is talking to, they are very, very engaged and paying a lot of attention, and the areas where they start showing disinterest, where they are like, oh shit, I'm not paying attention. Try to use various kind of softwares that you have where you see major drop-off points. Example, on YouTube as well, if you go to analytics, you'll be able to see on your videos where is the drop-off point, where exactly are people falling, where exactly are they not appreciating whatever pitch that you have, right? And then what you can also consider doing is you can send again a simple survey to these people as well. And you can ask them, just like how we did earlier, that hey, you ended up attending this event or you ended up actually consuming whatever I had, but you still did not buy. Can I ask you like why? And you get them to fill a survey. If survey is not the game for you, call them and ask them like, hey, what actually went wrong because of which you are not interested in actually moving forward? And then what would happen is you would have a list of reasons which would make you understand why your pitch is just not good enough. Then you take that feedback and then simply try hundreds of pitches, 100 different variations of different kind of pitches that you have, which will allow you to understand, okay, what works, what doesn't work. Okay, this is what's resonating with my audience. This is what's not resonating with my audience, right? And then you go make that change and then you go try that out, and that would allow you to actually improve upon this and eventually get more conversions, right? So the point is that for every step of the system, right, you have to decode it one by one to figure out what particular aspect of this entire system is not working, right? It's a lot easier to just blame the whole concept on its own, but when you decode it, you actually end up learning what exactly is the case. I'll also give you one more example. I had a friend, I was talking to him and he was like complaining, oh, I'm not losing weight, Rohan. Like it's been 7 years, I'm not losing weight. The simplest thing I asked him was why, right? And he said, I don't know, it's just I'm not losing weight. Okay. Then what did I do? Just like how I divided this, I divided like his entire weight loss journey into different kind of parts. Okay, so in order to lose weight, what all do you require? Proper workout, proper diet, proper sleep. Let's suppose these are the three variables. I'm not a fitness expert. I'm just using some common sense to actually talk about this. Okay, now these are the three things required. I asked him, hey, do you go to the gym like at least 3 times a week? He's like, no. Cool, so go fix that first. Do you eat like in a caloric deficit every single day with like, proper diet? The answer is no. Then go fix that. And are you getting like 8 hours of sleep every single day to make sure that your body supports that? No. Then go fix that. So when you actually decode why exactly you're not able to get the outcome that you truly desire, that is when you learn what is the root reason because of which you're not able to make progress. Similarly, this is exactly what we applied to marketing. So next time you are like wondering, why is my marketing not working? Just do this simple exercise. Take your entire marketing system, decode it one by one, and try to figure out which particular piece is not working and how can I go about improving the same. Rohan Dhawan here. If you found this video to be valuable, make sure to leave a comment below and share it with another friend of yours who is also not able to figure out why their marketing is not working. And I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.